Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Sarah. I'm super glad that you're all here for class number 8. I can't believe that we've already made it through 8 weeks of photo classes. You guys have come a long way in your photo taking. We have learned a lot of fun things, a lot of new ways of taking photos, a lot of ways in which we can look for things to take photos of. So I wanted to send a big thank you out to everybody that has been tuning in and that has been sharing their images with us for the photo slideshow. After this lesson, you guys are going to want to stay tuned. There's a little bonus announcement for a final slideshow. So make sure you listen on through to the very end for that announcement. So over the last few weeks, we've been learning a lot of new things. We have been learning about what to take photos of, from colors to shapes to textures. And then we've also experimented with the ways in which we can take photos. So changing up our point of view or our angle of view. So moving up or down or left or right. We've also covered how to pay attention to what is inside of our frame. So we've used this idea of leading lines, where we can have lines in our photos that guide our viewer to our subject. And last week we talked about this idea of filling the frame with our subject. So making sure that we're watching how much of the frame our subject takes up. So we're filling the frame with our subject. Today, we are going to expand on that, and we're going to introduce this new idea or technique, which is called using the rule of thirds. Now, what does the rule of thirds mean? Well, if we look at our frame when we're taking a photo, what we can do is we can divide it into thirds. We can divide it into horizontal thirds, and we can also divide it into vertical thirds. And then what we do is we pay attention in relation to those thirds of where we want to put our subject. So we are choosing which third we want to place our subject in. Now, why do we do this? Well, by choosing and following the rule of thirds of where we place our subject, what we can do is create more interesting and engaging photos for our viewers. So let's take a look at a few examples to give you guys an idea of what and where you want to place your subject so that you're following the rule of thirds. Okay, so here we have an example of a photo of a parrot. Now, what I've done is I've overlaid a grid on top of this photo so you can see exactly where the thirds fall on our frame and why and how we use the rule of thirds. So we have two horizontal lines running here and here, and they separate the photo into horizontal thirds. Now we also have two lines running vertically, so up and down here and here, and they separate the photo into 3 vertical thirds. So what we do when we use this rule of thirds is we place our subject in one of the spots where the lines connect. So we have this top right third, we have this bottom right third, we have the left third, and we have the top left third. So we want to place our subjects in one of those spots. And in this case, for the parrot, we have placed the parrot on the top right third, and he's looking off to the left. Okay, so here's another example. We have a butterfly. Now the butterfly, I've decided that I wanted to place him in the top left third of the frame. So you can see the sort of flowers around him, but the subject, he's in the top left third of the frame. Here I have some pink flowers, and I've decided to place them in the bottom left third. So there's stuff going on in the background of the frame, but the subject, I've placed it in the bottom left third of the frame. Here we have a little green speckled frog, and he is sitting in the bottom right third of my frame. Now, I decided to have him in the bottom right third to kind of give the illusion that he's going to jump off to the left-hand side. Here, I was in a forest, and I really liked these 3 green leaves that were kind of standing out with some water on them. What I wanted to do was sort of highlight this branch that was kind of branched with 3 leaves coming into my photo. So I chose to place it on the left bottom side of my frame, so the bottom left third, so that I could create kind of this idea of this leaf or this branch with the leaves on it coming into my photo. Now, the opposite side of the frame, I have a pine cone in the bottom right side of the frame. So there's the bush or the pine bush that it's on, sort of all over the frame, but my main subject is this pine cone, and so I've placed it in the bottom right third of my frame. Now, you can also take photos of things inside. Here I have a bowl of microwave popcorn. I've got the bag in the background, but my main subject is this bowl of popcorn, and I've placed it in the bottom right third of my photo. Here I have a bowl of fruit, and I've decided, instead of placing it dead center of my photo, I've moved it off to the bottom left side of the frame. Now, the bowl of fruit is so big that it takes up almost the entire left third of the frame. Here we have an example of a dock out at the lake, and I decided that I wanted to sort of show how long this dock was. So I started it off positioning the dock in the left side of my frame. So you can show sort of the size of something and have the size or have the subject move through the frame. In this case, we have the dock with sort of the footbridge on top. We started on the left-hand side and we let it move through the frame to the right-hand side. And sort of the opposite example, here we have a bridge. I've had it start on the bottom right-hand side of the frame, and then I let the bridge move through the frame to the left-hand side. Now, when you are dealing with nature photos and you've got the horizon in your photo, now the horizon is where the sun sets. So when the sun sets at the end of the day, where it kind of starts to disappear, that's what the horizon is. And when we're taking photos outside, we want to pay attention to where we place that horizon. And the reason for that is we want to decide what the picture is about. So by placing the horizon in the bottom third, like in this photo here, I've decided that I want my photo to be about the mountain and the clouds above. So I put a little bit of the lake below and a little bit of the land, but most of this picture is about the mountain and the clouds. So by paying attention to where I place my horizon in that bottom third, I can tell the viewer that this photo is all about the mountain and the clouds. Now, in this photo, I've decided to only put a little bit of the sky in, so I've moved the horizon up to the top third of the frame. I want this photo to be all about the mountains and the trees and the stream running through. So I've changed where my horizon is. It's no longer in the bottom third of the frame like it is in this photo. In this photo, it's in the top third. So by paying attention to where that horizon line is, moving it to the top third or the bottom third, you can tell the viewer what the photo is all about. Now, here's an example of some moss that I saw hanging off of a tree branch. Now, I decided to shoot it a couple of different ways, and in this particular one, I shot it vertically, so up and down. And I decided to place the moss in the top right third and kind of have it coming into the photo. Then I moved a little bit and I changed my camera so that it was horizontal or side to side, and it created a very different looking photo. Now, the moss is still starting in that top right third of the frame, but because I changed my camera to horizontal, I now have more of the background in my photo. So one other way that you can change the look of your photos is to change the position of your camera. So you can either have it up and down, which creates a vertical image, or you can have it side to side, which creates a horizontal image. Now, here's a fun one to finish off with. We have a little chipmunk sitting on a rock. He was very aware of everybody around him, and he just decided to pause at the top of the rock there on the rock pile. And I decided I wanted to put him in the bottom right side of my frame. And what I thought that this did, by placing him on that bottom right third, it kind of gives the viewer this idea that maybe he's gonna run off to the right-hand side of the photo. So by intentionally choosing where you want to place your subject in your photo, you can create a story for your viewer, or you can create kind of a theme of your photo of what you want the story to be, what you want the story of your photo to be. So as you can see, you can be super creative when it comes to choosing which third and where you want to place your subject in your frame. And it's really up to you as the photographer to decide what you want to do. As we've practiced in the past, one of the ways that we can experiment when we're using this technique is to play around with our position in relation to our subject. So we're changing our angle of view. We are moving left, we are moving right, we are moving up, or we are moving down. All of these changes give us ways in which we can experiment to create new photos. Now, your assignment for this week is to use the rule of thirds when you are taking photos. I want you guys to pay attention to where you're placing your subject in your frame. Experiment moving it from one side of the frame to the other side of the frame, and maybe from the top side of the frame to the bottom side of the frame. And once you've done that, I want you guys to take a look through your photos and see if there is a specific side of the frame that you guys like more than the others. I know for me, when I take photos, I tend to place them oftentimes on the bottom part of the frame or on the left side of the frame. But I want to see what you guys come up with. So practice moving your subject around all of the different thirds of the frame, and then look at all the photos and see if there's one that you like more than the others. And then once you're done taking photos, or done taking all of your photos for the assignment, I want you guys to pick 5 of your favorites to submit for the final slideshow. Now, for the bonus, what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to create a bonus favorite slideshow. So I want everyone to take some time to go over all of the photos that they've taken for the past 8 weeks. So it might take you a little bit. You might want to devote a little bit of time to it, but go through all of the photos that you've been taking. And I want you to pick any 5 favorites. So out of all the photos that you've taken, pick 5 of your favorites. They can be from assignment 1 or assignment 7. Maybe you've got some from assignment 5. If you've taken some photos in the last 8 weeks that weren't maybe specifically for the assignment, but because you've been practicing all of these new skills and ways to take photos, if you're super proud of those photos, by all means include those as well. So pick 5 photos that you're super duper proud of, and then what I'm going to do is put together a favorite slideshow for everybody to see. So these are photos that you're super proud of and you really want to share with everybody. You can submit 5 of your favorites. I wanted to finish off by saying a big thank you to everybody that has been tuning in over these last 8 weeks. I can't believe that we've made it to 8 weeks and that you guys have continued to take photos each week and send me and share with me and everyone else all the photos that you're super proud of. It's been a lot of fun for me being able to share my love of photography with you guys and hopefully give you guys some tools and tips for taking amazing photos. I am just really grateful for everybody that has watched and sent in photos. It means a lot to me. Every time I get an email or a notification that there's new photos that have been submitted, always a lot of fun to sort of see what you guys are seeing and how you're taking those photos. And it brings a big smile to my face. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys continue to take photos, continue using the skills that you've learned over the last 8 weeks. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and I hope that maybe again in the future we will see each other for some new classes. But until then, keep taking photos, keep having fun, and take care. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.